Morning. This is going to be a guide to chasing the Durango and Silverton train. It will not be a comprehensive guide. It will only cover some of the basics of chasing the train from the Durango station until you get to an overlook on the 550 highway. We're going to start this with some background information you need to know if you've never been to Colorado before. First thing is, Colorado has some very strict speeding laws, and I'm bringing that up because I'm from Arizona, and we aren't speeding until we're going 11 miles over the speed limit. And the reason why Colorado has a lot of really strict speeding laws is because there are a lot of windy, narrow roads, basically two-lane highways, sharp turns, no rails, and cliffs. So real quick, going 1 to 4 miles per hour over the speed limit is a $36 fine. 5 to 9 miles per hour is an $80 fine with 1 point on your driver's license. 10 to 19 is $151, 4 points. 20 to 24 is $232 and 6 points. 25 and over is $150 to $300 and 10 to 90 days in jail. There are all sorts of other ways in which you can get a speeding ticket, and I'm not going to go over them. You should research it yourself. I recommend using Google Maps to navigate and drive around the state. Watch for reports of speed traps, and I suggest that you report speed traps when you see them. If you don't know how to do that, you can use Google to figure that out. So we're going to start out with the city of Durango is at 6,529 feet elevation. My recommendations for staying in Durango is the Best Western Rio Grande Inn at 400 East 2nd Avenue. If you stay at this inn, you'll note here I have a red line. That red line is a shortcut to get to the train station if you were to walk. Normally you would walk up this street and then you would walk over to the train station. If you use this path, which goes in front of this Wyndham Resort, through this parking lot, past this restaurant on this left side, across the parking lot under these trees, you will arrive at the train station in approximately, I think it's about 700 and something feet. But the big thing is if you go this way, you got to go uphill and then down, and this way it's more level. We're going to talk about a Best Western plus Rio Grande Inn. It's an older hotel. It has a nice continental buffet breakfast. It's got a small buffet. They have scrambled eggs, sausage, biscuits and gravy, fresh waffles, cereal, coffee, bagels, fruit muffins, donuts, juice, and other stuff. It's a 3-story hotel. There is an elevator. There are printers near the elevators. It has an indoor pool, hot tub, but it does not have very many outlets in the room. There's only like 3 or 4, maybe 5 outlets in the whole room, and they're in hard to find places. They also have a small fridge, a microwave, coffee maker, desk and chair, TV, and basically all the other normal hotel stuff. The AC air conditioning and heat controls are finicky, so take that what you will. Right here, they are building a parking garage. Now, when I say they, I don't know exactly who they are, but there's a parking garage that's about half built here. I don't know if the city's building it or what, but it's a really good idea because parking in Durango is atrocious. This parking lot right here is privately owned. You have to pay at a kiosk, which is about right where my pointer is. Actually, it's right about here. If it's out of paper, you can't pay to park there. Parking meters need quarters or credit debit cards, and as of October of 2023, the price to park
is $1.25 per hour with a 3-hour maximum. You have to divide $1.25 by 5 to find out how many minutes per hour you can get away with. Some meters are free at certain times of days or of weeks. Keep in mind that on the weekends this city is extremely crowded. This is a parking area. This is a McDonald's, and this is a parking area for people who ride the trains only. Do not try to park there. Just to let you know, there are many restaurants in the city. They have very odd hours and days when they are open. They often don't open till 4, and they may not open. Some restaurants may not be open until like a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. There is a yard tour that occurs 7 days a week at 10:30 a.m. As far as I know, it's free. The only issue is sometimes they don't have the tour. When I was up there the day I wanted to take the tour, they didn't have it. This right here is the entrance to the museum. Part of the roundhouse in this area has been turned into a museum. You get to it from going into the depot, walking along here, and then crossing at the crosswalk. Admission is free. I will add also that there are bathrooms in the depot. They are small. They are not handicap accessible. This is the yard entrance. It is gated when the trains are not expected to be leaving or arriving. They have a yellow line that goes along the tracks. Stay behind it. I can't tell you how many people I saw crossing over into the yellow line and getting politely told to get back behind the yellow line by the workers. Even if you stay behind the yellow line, that train is going to be very close to you. In one of my videos, I'm standing there and I could have reached out and touched it, and I was right up next to the line. So, be careful. The train is very unforgiving and will grind you up easily. The next thing is, if you have tickets to ride the train, you should be there 30 minutes before it leaves. The station will be crowded. If you have your boarding passes, you don't have to go to the ticket counter. There are people working in there that have badges, and they will help you if you have questions. There are several workers out when the train is getting ready to leave. They have been very helpful. I asked them many questions, and they answered them all very nicely and politely. If you have a ticket to ride the train, be there, because the train boards 15 minutes before departure, and when it departs, if you're not on it, too bad, no refunds. Now we're going to talk about the best places in which to, I won't say these are the best places. These are places that I know of that you can get to and take pictures. First, the train follows this red line through the city. You could try to catch it in here, but I will tell you that your best bets are to go a day ahead of time and scope out some good places in which to stop. There are a couple of places where they cross a bridge. This right here is a park, and there's a walkway, so you could stop here and catch some pictures of it, and then you can get back out on the highway. You do not have to speed to catch the train. It's very easy to catch. Once you get on this highway and you can follow the train, it crosses here. I don't have let's see if I can bring up the roads. This is 32nd Street. And then it goes through some neighborhoods for quite a ways. And I found that this point right here
we'll call this stop 1, is a good place to stop to take a picture of the train. You will get there, oh, good 15-20 minutes before the train will arrive. It's got a wide place to park. Stay off the tracks, and when the train comes, there's a stop sign over here. Stay back behind the stop sign. You don't want to get hit. You can go on the other side of this, but understand that it's my understanding that this is private property back here. So I would avoid it. Once the train passes this point, you can, starting approximately here, literally chase the train. But I'll warn you, what I did was I drove on the shoulder. The shoulder is more than wide enough to drive on. I don't know if it's legal or not, so if it's not legal, or if you get a ticket for it, you're on your own. I didn't tell you to do it, I just told you what I did. Also be advised that there will be people parked along here, so you may not be able to chase the train. The train goes approximately 18 miles per hour, so that's why you want to be, if you're going to do this, you would want to be on the side of the road on the shoulder, because you're going to hold up traffic. I recommend that one person drives and a second person records the train. The person who records should keep their camera inside the vehicle, or else you're going to get a lot of wind noise. This area crosses a couple of entrances to private homes, so be advised that you have to be very careful if you're going to cross these. Also, be nice and don't block any of these driveways. Some of them are very narrow. So if you park near here, park on the shoulder on either side, stay out of the driveways. This is a pretty long stretch of road, and it's broken up by trees, but you'll get some pretty good video if you chase it along here. Also, once you've got any video you want, you can, there is a second location where you could possibly chase the train again, because there's not a lot of trees along here. Same rules and courtesy applies. Be very careful. Watch out for parked cars. And once again, there are many places to stop along here. Be nice. Be polite. Don't block roads. The next stop that's a good place to be is a crossing. The train comes from this direction, and on its return trip, of course, it comes the other direction. This is a nice place to park. I have seen other people, I parked here, other people have parked here. I overheard an altercation between some woman walking a dog and someone parked over here, that something about possibly you can't park there. I don't know. They kind of had words. There is a water tank here. If the train is got too many cars, I don't know the exact number of cars in which they'll start to use the diesel, but if there's a lot of people, they will attach a diesel. The diesel will drive up ahead and park here. The train will come up and it'll stop here for about 15 minutes while they link up, and then they will continue. There are multiple other stops along this route. There are some places where you could probably get to, because once it crosses here, it goes up into the hills along this mountain, and there are some roads that go along here that if you scout them out, you might find a good place to get some other pictures that most people don't take pictures from. The next good spot for taking pictures is an area where the train goes under the 550 highway. You can park either here or over here. There is a fence along this point here, and a good vantage point is anywhere up here. If you want to go through this cattle gate, it's a weird gate. It's meant to allow you to get through this way, but it's supposed to block animals from getting back through. This is a very steep climb down. You can hold on to the gate or the fence and climb down, or you could walk back here and there is a path that leads down to the gate. And then you can set up somewhere along here to take your pictures however you want. On the day we chased the train to this point, because they stopped at the water tower to pick up the diesel, they arrived at 1.5 hours after they left the station. Now that means that if they don't use the diesel, then they might arrive here about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I recommend, if you want to get to this point, that you get here at least 1 hour after the train is supposed to depart. On the return trip, the train takes approximately 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to this point. So look up on the schedule. It changes depending on the time of year when it departs Silverton, and try to get here at least 2 hours after the train is scheduled to depart, and you should be able to catch the train here. The elevation at this point is 7,169 feet, so if you have problems with altitude, keep that in mind. It is measured from the gate on the tracks to this point is approximately 15.25 miles that the train has to travel. You will easily catch up, get here way before it gets here. Things that might affect how soon it gets here is that the train has been known to break down, and there have been delays and other things, so keep that in mind. When I was here, there was somebody who was waiting in this spot for an hour before the train arrived. After this point, there is not much in the way of places that you can catch the train. There's a road here, and there's some roads here. This is some kind of business, so it's part of the railroad, so I don't know if this is accessible, but there is a road that goes up to here. At this point, the train is entering the Animas Canyon, and basically the next stop is Silverton Station. There is pretty much nowhere you can, except for maybe this little road 31 that leads to some kind of mine, which I would recommend you stay away from, where the train comes along the tracks and pulls into the Silverton station. There's a 2-hour layover, generally. Gives you enough time to walk or go into town. I don't know if they have a shuttle or anything. I haven't ridden on the train from Durango to Silverton in a very long time.
There are some shops along here. There is not much to do in this town, so just gives you enough time to get some lunch or something. If you want to chase the train all the way from Durango to Silverton, you can easily do it. You will get there. Basically, it takes about an hour to get from the 550 bridge where the train goes under it to Silverton. So you'll get there like 2 hours before it. I will put all these locations that I have shown that were marked with red X's or whatever in a KMZ file, and a link to downloading that will be in the description. Thanks for watching.